Would you believe it, but I won this 4-hour NEC race solo in the Porsche Cup. There were 11 cars in my field and then 49 GT3s. And I had a rough time in qualifying for this. It was a little bit damp in spots. Porsche moments there with the back end coming around on me, and this one here where I hit the curb before dropping down the Bell FS. But starting this race, it was just very damp in spots here in the Grand Prix section. I qualified fourth, not with a great time, like an 8:21, I think. This is split 22 of 36. And this is my 686th race in iRacing. And if you don't know, I am legally blind. I have retinitis pigmentosa. I have just a 7-degree bit of tunnel vision in the center in order to see. So when you see all the onboards of my car, I'll have the very wide rainbow road on like we have here. So at lap one, we're dealing with cars that are having their own moments, as you'd expect in this, where it's just a little bit slippery in spots. This car behind me that crashed. Also on this opening lap, as we all check up, even coming up to climbing here out of the foxhole in Adnar Forest, I believe. As I get all my corners mixed up. And I'm willingly just giving up spots when people are looking more racy and just want to take them from me. And which is fine. This is a tortoise in the hare kind of thing. And then after miss hit miss, there's cars blinking in and out of here because of my replay, of course, but GT3s smashing into each other. And then as the Porsche Cup group comes into it, we all are pretty sensible about it, should I say. So after lap one, top five, all within about the same shot. I think the leader was a bit quicker than the rest of us. They could do like an 8:04, 8:05, but they didn't last long in this race, as it really was about just holding on to it. As again, this is another wet part of the section as you jump through the cut through past the Schumacher S. And the very next lap, that same car was able to get around me. Again, it was a very respectful bit from me to just say, go on through. You know, this is this being a long race and doing it all on my own. That car then crashed just a few corners later there onto the green hill and racing against this other vibrant red car here in my orange one. So as we jumped up, I just let them by as well. And this is the leader, I think, of the Porsche Cups who had their moment. And just a really enjoyable race. I think a lot of teams did have two drivers, which is recommended. I mean, 4 hours of Nürburgring on your own is it's quite difficult, obviously. These are the two cars I was battling for the lead in this, and they ended up hitting each other as they were about to enter the green hill, and then picked up a little extra bit of damage there, hitting the barrier, trying to turn around. So by this point, I had a 7.5-minute lead because those two just couldn't stop messing with each other. This is like a couple laps later. They're dropping down to the backstretch of the GP where one of them spun themselves out. Pretty harrowing moment for someone going into a rather straightforward and straight pit lane to lose it on the brakes and then have to Austin Powers it, and also not having much spatial awareness to know that someone is literally off to your left while you're doing your three-point turn once again in the pit lane. So I was trying to take it easy and let some GT3s. There's so many Porsche GT3s in here, but the conditions really didn't dry up through it as I touched just a little bit of the curb and the paint there. And then the very next lap, I'm very, nervous about that outside line, and I try to give it to this GT3 car that's already been through the wars, and they misread what I was doing. I probably could have been a little bit more smooth with that one. I'll take some blame for that awkward moment. Then a lap later than that, where I'm about to have my second pit stop on this lap, I touch the curb. I had a moment of where my concentration lapsed there and had to use one of my fast repairs. And in a race like this, you just have to manage those major moments. You're probably going to have a crash. You just don't want to have more than one major accident. So that was a 10.5-minute tow. And then from then on, it was just managing the traffic, managing my own pace, keeping my concentration up. And as you get to this where someone's just had a crash and then they're skipping across the grass and there's no one directly behind me, just more than willing to give lots of racing room in respect to the fact that their car is probably broken. Maybe they're not quite paying attention to what's behind them. And I have everything to lose in these moments, so why go for any narrow gap, just to get around them? Especially when the lead came back to me after my large crash. Just I had a little touch at the back, as this part of the circuit with the driving line, you'd think, how can you miss anything with the driving line? But with this green, and there's kind of a lack of shadows across the track. Like, I cannot see this green line here. I've asked iRacing to make a second line of code where I could have like a green and black, like every other chevron kind of line, because when you come into certain corners like this, even coming out of this one to the little carousel, I can't see this green line. I can't see this green line. I'm just hunting for the red there into the braking zone. So just as the conditions can look right in one moment, can change very quickly. As it's a 4-hour race. The sun's going to alter its height, obviously. So I let these two cars, this is on the very last lap, and that Mustang decided to have a spin to give me something to think about. And then this BMW crabbing on the Dottingerhoe. It was a remarkable race for me. I'm a 1.4, 1.5K driver. And again, almost all of my wins have been in a Mazda, certainly nothing as quick as a Porsche Cup. And I've done several of these NEC races on my own in GT4, and finished maybe third, I think, at my best in a 6-hour race that I did by myself, well, not knowing it was going to be a 6-hour race. But just so proud of myself. I spent half of this race just going, oh my God, are you going to win this race? Are you going to win this race? Don't mess it up, whatever you do. Like, this is going to be the crowning jewel of your sim racing career, practically, after, again, nearly doing 700 races, and just showing it with a lot of perseverance and sticking to it and just staying on the road. A lot of times you can get a good result in a race as grueling as a 4-hour Nürburgring Endurance Championship race.